Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions. Again, I'll bring back Liran. How you doing, mate?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no worries. Good one today. Just hot off the press, reviews. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so new policy from Amazon that is out this week.
Yes, what day is it today? Oh, I don't really want to date the show, but I will. It's the 4th today as of recording. But basically, we're going to go through Amazon's terms of service, which ultimately are normally quite vague, aren't they?
Yes, you normally don't have necessarily a clear-cut answer on some things with you know Amazon terms of service.
Yeah, so I think people have been receiving an email on this as well. So if you missed it, you can revert back to your inbox and take a look. But
Hmm.
it's quite interesting. I'm going to run through some of these here. So violations to customer review policies included, but not limited to these actions. So the first one here, a seller posts a review of their own product or their competitor's product.
Yep. So giving yourself a review. I mean, obviously, it'd be kind of dumb to do that, but they're saying sending your competitor bad reviews or good reviews or uh, you know is also a violation.
Yeah, so they've been absolutely clear now. So that's quite handy because now when you get competitors leaving review on your products, you can actually refer to the terms of service. Hopefully Amazon doesn't change that up and then rename it as like when you communicate with them that they are just guidelines. But I suppose the key thing here, you're going to need proof. The second one here, a seller offers a third party a financial reward, discount, free products, or other compensation in exchange for a review on the product of or their competitor's product. This includes using services that sell customer reviews, websites, or social media groups. See, that's very, very specific. Now, we knew that Amazon's always come out and said since October 4th, was it, in 2016, Review
Hmm.
Armageddon, that you
Right.
can no longer do incentivized reviews. But this is clear cut here. Do you want to say anything on this?
Yeah, I mean, and they're also, it seems like sort of, I mean, they're not naming Facebook specifically, but when they say social media groups, they're kind of, I think, hinting to Facebook review groups.
Yeah.
So very specific.
Totally. Here's an interesting one. We talked about rebate stuff a while back, you and I,
Hmm.
didn't we? A seller offers to provide a refund or reimbursement after the buyer writes a review, including reimbursement via a non-Amazon payment method. This could be done via buyer-seller messaging on Amazon or directly contacting the customers using third-party services, website, or social media groups. So we know about the rebate groups. The workaround for those kind of groups was, well, we're not just for Amazon, we're for everyone. So we can do rebates. So they're able to skirt the laws there. But this
Right.
this is kind of indicating to the rebate groups now, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. I guess the a seller offers to provide a refund after the buyer writes a review. So this is to me saying something like, emailing a customer and saying, hey, if you can change your review, we'd offer you a refund
Yeah.
uh, on your purchase. So um, you know, as far as the the rebate groups here, um, it's a reimbursement after they write a review. So,
Hmm.
I'm assuming if you're using like a rebate thing that you're reimbursing before they write the review, or either you're reimbursing either way, right? So,
Yeah.
um, hopefully not an issue if the customer ends up writing a review on their own, but you certainly should not be asking customers for review if you're using those services, I think.
Yeah. A seller uses a third-party service that offers free or discounted products tied to a review. For example, a review club that requires customers to register their Amazon public profile so that the sellers can monitor their reviews.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny because this week I was looking at some websites I'd used in the past. So I went on Snagshout, okay, which is like this was a website that owned a few years back, and then they actually sold it off. And this was a review site. Basically, you had to Snagshout basically forced customers to write a review before they can get their next deal. they stopped doing that after October, but they still have something on their website that says, we help you get reviews.
Yeah.
And when I went on the website this week, they still make the customers give their review profile.
Right.
So I thought that was very, very interesting. Definitely not something I would use right now, especially with this.
Yeah. Makes
So
sense.
there's still websites out there asking for the, services asking for the profile.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have to be pretty much diligent there. A family member or an employee of the seller posts a review of the seller's product or a competitor's product. There seems to be a continuous theme here. It's like your product or the competitor's product.
Yes. It's the first time I've really seen Amazon, I think, sort of mention this competitor product thing, which means they realize there's a problem with, people sending you could be sending negative reviews to your competitor or maybe positive reviews in an attempt to get them, flagged too. So it's also probably why they don't mention negative review for a competitor product, because both negative and positive are bad.
Yeah, totally. A seller asks for a reviewer to change or remove their review. They might also offer a refund or other compensation to a reviewer in exchange for doing so.
Yeah, so this is something that is difficult. We sometimes will send a message if a customer writes a 1-star review, we'll send a message and say, hey, we'd love to send you a replacement. You got to be very, very careful though, in terms of like, we don't ask the person to change their review, but we would ask them after they're fully happy to update their feedback.
Yeah.
Now the question is, how far do you want to go in actually doing that? Because it seems like everything is just getting more risky in terms of reviews.
Yeah. Makes total sense. A seller diverts negative reviews to be sent to them or to a different feedback mechanism, while positive reviews are sent to Amazon.
Yeah, so I've seen sort of two variations of people using this method. One is using this method off of Amazon, like on the landing page, where I've seen where if a customer's like there's 5 stars, and if a customer puts 1 star, it'll say, oh, please write your negative experience here, whatever, and they just write the negative review on like some landing page. Yeah. And if they hit like 5 stars, it like forwards them to a link to Amazon. And then I've also seen, people writing in emails, if you're happy, leave us a review. If you're not happy, contact us. So again, you're diverting a negative review, from not being written. So all that is things that they're addressing with the policy.
Yeah. This one's been quite popular recently. A seller creates a variation relationship between products with the aim of manipulating reviews and boosting a product's star rating via a review aggregation.
Yep. So, I think Amazon recognizes this, which is why you've seen them, start to sort of split up some variations. Something interesting I've seen when people have opened cases to say, hey, why are my reviews split up between my variations when my competition isn't? And Amazon's response is, if they think there is some kind of review manipulation going on, they're splitting the reviews. So it's almost being done if your ASIN, if your listing is flagged, then they will split up the variations by reviews, which is kind of interesting. But so that's obviously trying to address people who are just like adding unrelated products just for the reviews.
Yeah. A seller inserts a request for a positive Amazon review or an incentive in exchange for a review into the product packaging or shipping box.
So this is something you see really often, is you get an insert in your packaging, and it's like, hey, want your next bottle for free, or want whatever, leave us a review and send us a screenshot or whatever. Go to this link. So they're addressing that. My inserts ask for a review, but we're not asking for like any positive review, right? We're just saying like, hey, we we really want your feedback. Reviews help our small business. You know, we ask for a review. I think that's still okay. I think you just need to be super careful on the language that you're using, not to ask for a positive review.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give an example there. Let me just pick up I've got a swing tag here that we use as part of an insert. Let me just find it. So you've seen this over and over again, but there's the happy and not happy.
Right.
Flip them over, and it says, "Let's turn your frown upside down," so they can make contact directly through the website. And
right.
Beside that, it says, "Tell family and friends, share your experience on Amazon, connect with us." So it says like the website in there. So there's no real direct play there for asking for reviews. But if people have got problems, they know that they can reach out to us,
right,
and contact us. So like you said, it's very key in terms of what you're doing with the language and how you approach it.
Right. And, you know, in my insert, one of my like biggest things that I have like in big sort of print is, you know, hey, if you have any questions, problems, anything, we have, you know, a toll-free 800 number. Here's our email address. I want to make sure that, you know, the person sends us a message before they write a negative review, but we're obviously not mentioning that, but our information is there. Like the biggest thing I want to get out of my insert is the customer service.
Yeah.
You know, so that's been really effective because we've gotten more positive reviews from turning around bad situations where customer receives something damaged or broken or whatever, and then we just send them a new one really quickly or whatever, and then we follow up with them, you know, and say, hey, we'd love for you to leave your feedback, and we usually end up getting a positive review out of it. So, yeah. But yeah, you can't ask for a positive review on the insert.
The final bullet point there, a seller uses a customer account to write or change a review on his or his competitor's product.
Yep. So, you know, it's interesting because it sounds like they're saying like almost like hacking into a customer's account or something. You know, you're going into a customer account to change a review. So, they're being very, very specific. Probably, you know, they had a team sit down and think up all the different ways people are manipulating the review system. Yeah. And, you know, they came up with this like very specific list. And in reality, you know, nothing has really changed, right? We kind of knew all these things, but it's the first time Amazon is really addressing them this specifically. Yeah. And like you said, maybe it's helpful if you're trying to open a case for a competitor sending you negative reviews, and you're saying, here, I'm citing the policy of exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Against the Amazon terms of service. Mm-hmm. I don't know. You know, I'm gonna test this and try it because you know, I have somebody I do some consulting for, and they launched a product. The first day they launched a product, you know, supplement, and first day to launch a product, they got a negative unverified review on the product. I opened a case with the communities team, and they're like, yeah, we'll do an investigation, but we can't tell you the result of the investigation for privacy reasons. But, you know, 1-star review is still there. So I know the result of the investigation, but, you know, maybe it'd be a good idea now to open another case and cite the policy here and see like what their response is. Yeah,
I got a client call just this morning. Same thing as you. We had a client that we supplied the hijacker letters to a 3-stage, but they're very tough to remove. So he went through the process of distributing the letters. He's pretty much ignored. So he'd done the purchase. He came back. It was a fake. He gave him a 1-star. The guy went mad. Told him to remove it. Threatened him, etc. He didn't. Next day, his product with 2 different variations that basically have got both got 1-star reviews on each of the variations that are unverified. So it's pretty much obvious, you know. So it's getting quite nasty out there. So yeah, I think that's really interesting though. That, like you said, that them spelling it out that way, you can't miss it. But equally, I hope Amazon can be held to the same standards. That if they are not just guidelines, if that's what it says, because we've had this debate before about reviews. A few years ago, I read out the reviews to a person on the phone. They were talking about a 1-star review. It says this doesn't work with a misspelling in there. It wasn't 20 20 words long. It didn't give value to the to customers because they didn't understand why didn't it work. There wasn't any description, and it covered off loads of it. And they said, but you've got to understand these are just our guidelines, and we're rejecting the removal of that review. So hopefully they will stand by what they're saying there, and they won't be vague, because I'm sure when it comes to suspending you, they won't be vague.
Right. Yeah. And like the communities team, I mean, getting a review removed on Amazon is so difficult. I mean, I've never been able to get a review.
I've seen the Loch Ness Monster more times than that being having a review removed.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like it's almost impossible. Well, maybe based on this policy now, you would hope that you can sort of state directly, this is what's happening. And you need to investigate this because this is exactly what's happening. It's cited in your own terms of service. Yeah. And, I want you to take action on it. So yeah, should be interesting to see if any of how Amazon deals with these things changes as a result of this policy.
Sounds good. Cool. Let's leave that there. Is there anything else you want to add before we go?
No, you can, we have a Facebook group, Amazing Freedom. Feel free to, join the community, and, we have a podcast as well. Amazon Seller Podcast.
Cool. And what's the best way to get in contact with you, via email or?
Yep. So email Liran, at amazingfreedom.com, or, you can, hit me up on Facebook.
Sounds good. Guys, thanks for joining us. Liran, thank you for joining us. If this is your first time, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you again in the next few days. Take care.